Yeah, welcome to Free Your Mind. I'm your host, Adel Gamar. We have none other than Adel Gamar. Adel, welcome.
Thank you very much for having me.
It was a pleasure coming inside.
Appreciate it.
You know, it's been a while to get you, but finally I'm able to get you in here. I know it's not easy with your busy schedule, so welcome.
Appreciate it, man.
Adel, you want to tell us about yourself, what you do? You know, because I know you run as a mayor at the last municipal election for City of Coquitlam.
Yeah.
No, thank you for running, because I know not that many of us run. And I've been following you. Me and Ibrahima has been, that's the reason why we started running too. Yeah, so I really appreciate finally getting a chance to sit down with you.
Appreciate you for having me, man. It's a beautiful establishment. Listen, a shout out to you, because we need third places. You know, people talk about two places, work and home. And we're missing in our communities our third places where people can actually connect. The barbershops are well known. You go to the old world, you know, cafes, barbershops where people can actually meet and tell stories and make human connections. And so appreciate you for setting this space up, and congratulations on all your successes.
Thank you. It's been 20 years.
Oh,
yeah,
New Westminster.
New Westminster. We started in 2006.
Fantastic.
Me and my two cousins, Nancy and Nana, we started in 2006. We never expect the success it will have, but honestly, yes, propelled us to so many different levels. We met so many different people, cultures. People have come here and gone. People come here, got married, moved on.
Oh no!
And then people come here, open up their businesses. They still come back. So it's been a good journey, and honestly, I can't complain. I thank God every day.
Yeah.
Because what these shops have brought to my life and my family's life, sky is the limit, and only God knows. Without it, I don't think I probably would have run as a councillor or as an MLA.
Yeah.
But because, the more people I meet, the more I talk to people, the more I get to interact with people and learn so much. Because from what I learned is the reason why I decided to run, because in this city of New West, what goes on in here is very tough. Since COVID, it's been just downhill and downhill.
Yeah, you go to a hard time.
You go to see all the complaints about the same thing. So I took it into my own lane. I met a young man by the name of Ibrahima.
Yes.
Just from my haircut.
Yes.
We started talking. Sise. Just from my haircut.
Yeah.
We started talking. It's like, you know what, hey, have you ever thought of doing this? I'm like, Ibrahim, are you sure?
Yeah.
And then that was it.
Yeah.
And now we're here.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. No, congratulations on your successes, man.
Yeah, thank you so much. So, and I know you have your resume speaks for itself. It's crazy.
Not really, man. Listen, no. Look, we as children of immigrants and/or for immigrants, we know that you come to this country with so many big dreams, and you know that nothing is going to be handed out to you.
Oh, for sure.
It's not because we might be of African descent, or myself, I'm Afro-Arab. Any immigrant story has this ingredient, which is resilience, work hard. My parents, who came from the old world, my dad is Libyan, my mom is Egyptian, and they raised 5 children. They came to this country because they looked for opportunities, and they taught us the meaning of hard work, because we've seen them go through a lot. Work hard. And one thing that my mom has always taught me is, as you climb the ladder, make sure you hold it for others to climb.
Yeah.
So this idea that you've got to always give back to the community, this isn't just a narrative, a story about me, the self. It's rather, work hard, but in what way can you contribute to the world to leave it a little better? So there's always been, and I don't think my story is unique. I'm pretty sure that's your story. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of stories of people across this wonderful country where people want to contribute and they want to do good work. And the essence of hard work weaves through the stories of everybody. So that's, I think, for me, has been a motivator throughout my life.
No, that's great. Because I know my dad go through the same thing. My dad came here in the 60s, came here, went to school. From Ghana.
Yeah.
Came here as like a 22, 23-year-old, as a police officer from Ghana, came here, gone to school, came back. They realized that the life wasn't good, so he came back here, built a life for himself, and then brought us here.
Yeah.
So I came in 94. It was like 5 of us. My dad was like, what? My mom passed away when we were kids.
Oh, right.
Right when we got our visa to come here, my mom passed away. So imagine my dad had to find a way to get 5 like 4 boys here.
Yeah.
It wasn't easy. So what we did is, my first brother, the oldest one, came, worked, bought a ticket for the next one. Now they came.
Wow.
There's those two bought a ticket for the next one, and they came, and all three of them bought a ticket for me, and I came. So I know. My dad was a security. Well, he working as security at the age of what, for 40 till about 65 when he stopped.
Working hard
Every day.
food on the table for his kids.
Every day. And it wasn't that easy. And even those days when you were old,
Yeah.
to come in here,
Yeah.
you have to change your age, because if you come in and you're a little older, they wouldn't let you.
Yeah. Listen, was he born in January 1st?
My dad was, I think,
How
February
many
1st.
Africans have their birthday
Somalians.
January 1st?
Somalians,
Even
everybody's.
West Africans. I saw that
Yeah.
in synagogue. I saw that in Mauritania. That you don't know because a lot of families don't keep track of the birthdays.
No.
It's a blessing the day that
Yeah.
you were born, and then it's forgotten.
And that's it. And the funny part is, when my dad passed away in 2020, I went to Ghana with my little sister. Because last time she went, she was like probably what, 10, like what, 6, 7 years old. So we went, met the family, we talking and talking. And then they brought the obituary, the poster came out.
Yeah.
I look at the poster, I'm like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
He's like 75 in Canada. And you realize that my dad was like, what, 99 when he died.
Oh wow.
So imagine how much he had to reduce his year to be able to come here, work,
Yeah.
and be able to bring all of us.
Yeah.
And he was working, even though he was 65 here, he was probably about like what, 75 when he was still working.
Yeah.
So he went through a lot.
That's extraordinary. What's his name?
George. It's George Adel Gamar. Yeah. So he did a lot. He did a lot for all of us. So I can't thank him enough. Without him, I don't know where I'll be today.
Look, the story of George, the story of our parents, is just a story of resilience. And like you said, priority number one is take care of your family, and then contribute. Do some good in the world, whether it be in your community, in your city, whether it be across the country, whether it be you're a scientist, a mathematician, an engineer, a plumber. Just do it with excellence. It's something that is ingrained in us.
That's all.
What we wanted to do when we grew up.
Hard work pays off, and we never give up.
Yeah.
Because when you give up, it means your whole life is done. So that's what my parents instilled in me. Growing up, all the time I thought I was going to be a soccer player.
Yeah, of course.
And I came to Canada, man. I came to Canada, Adel, and life changed.
Yeah.
Still have to start, hustling at the age of 16, 17 to be able to help out.
Yeah.
But now, like I said, thank God we're here, so
Yeah.
we're making it.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to ask some few questions for you too. It's like your parents worked so hard.
Yes.
What did they instill in you to keep you going?
Yeah. Well, like I said, the values of hard work, values of contribute to society wherever you may be. Don't look for handouts. In fact, the opposite. If you see that somebody's in need, give back. We moved here in 1986. I was about 9 years old, maybe just turning 10 at the time. We moved to Coquitlam, and I was at Ranch Park Elementary. And one of the first things that I found myself, wanted to contribute is something as simple as the library at the school had a fish tank, and they asked, who would like to volunteer to clean the fish tank. Now, Daniel, I was an introvert as a young kid, so I didn't want to be in social circles. I love quietness. And so for me to hang out with some fish and feed and take care of the tank was like public service, but at the same time, it was suiting me because, like I said, I was an introvert. I had a paper route, so I delivered the local paper, the Coquitlam Now, and that gave me an opportunity which was so profound. I remember it till today. The way to connect with a neighborhood. Like I knew every street. I knew which house had a dog that would bark as soon as I stepped
So you gotta throw the paper.
Well, it's behind the door, so I'm safe, but I know what the dog's bark is. I know that there might be a cat perched up on a couch looking down at me at this house. So for me, growing up in Coquitlam at a young age, volunteering, delivering the paper gave me a sense of community pretty early. And like I mentioned, the opportunities to give back. I played rugby for Charles Best.
Oh, wow, okay.
I played band, both saxophone and bass, like stand-up bass, so I learned how to read treble and bass clef. Love music, love jazz. And then in Centennial was where I graduated high school. And throughout all of that, I felt there's a calling for myself. And it's probably because, like I mentioned, my parents had taught us give back, contribute. But I wasn't really clear on what it is that I wanted to do when I grew up. I was an average C student, and so I wasn't really book smart. I wasn't really connecting with school, and it might have been that, adults didn't really take me seriously. I felt like maybe I was taken for granted. At that time, I felt man, if a teacher has so much power over a young person. They can fulfill dreams or help inspire dreams at least. And I felt at the time, if I were a teacher and I had me as a student, like that's pretty premature as a kid to have that idea that, man, if I was a teacher, I would want to sit with me and ask me, what do you want to do? In what ways do you want to contribute? And in what ways can I help you? As opposed to just pass your tests and do your work, which I understood the value of. It just didn't click with me. And that's probably why academically I wasn't excelling a C student. But I still loved school. I loved being there. I loved the community, the deep sense of community that it helped forge. Wow. So after high school, I had some part-time jobs. I worked for Foot Locker. I worked at Burger King. But one of my favorite jobs was working at Chuck E. Cheese.
Chuck E. Cheese?
Yeah. You know what Chuck E. Cheese is?
Yeah, I know Chuck E. Cheese. My kids love Chuck E. Cheese.
All right. So I was a birthday host. And for me, it was great joy just to be the person who can put a smile on young people's faces. And the birthday person to feel like they're the most special person that day. And believe it or not, Daniel, if I think back, like what made me want to become a teacher, it wasn't just because in school I felt like, man, I would have loved to have a teacher. And I had great teachers, but what would it be like if I had a teacher who sat me down and said, what are you dreaming of and how can I support you? But Chuck E. Cheese was like the one that tipped it, in that I'd love to be with young people and I'd love to open their eyes and give them hope and inspiration, and then landed on becoming a teacher.
Wow. So as a C student, ended up at Harvard.
Yeah.
How's
clear? No, I said, you just say you're a C student. Say, come on in.
And then you're at Harvard, man. How does that work?
Yeah, that's a good question. Hard work, that's for sure. You know, they say, how do you get to Carnegie Hall? It's like the most famous. It's practice. It's hard work. But academically, it didn't click at that age, which to me is such an important lesson that, a lot of people mature at different ages.
That's true.
And just because a child at high school doesn't do well academically, don't close the doors that you can't contribute or learn even at a later time. Learning is a journey. Yeah. We have, as in an African tradition, that you seek knowledge from the cradle to the grave. Yeah. That it doesn't stop at high school or university. So what happened is, fast forward, I graduated with a B.Ed, so I became a teacher. Yeah. I wanted to contribute, so that whole theme in my life was contribute. I was at the University of Calgary. I had the opportunity to teach young people who were doing time in jail, but they still needed to graduate high school. And so I thought I can contribute by inspiring them, by listening to them, by sitting with them. And so that allowed me then an opportunity to travel overseas with my wife and then two daughters, Mariam and Fatima. We ended up moving to the Emirates, and then I moved to Qatar to work for a Canadian college. Yeah. So now I'm teaching at a college level. And then I got a call from somebody from the United Nations, somebody that I knew someone at the UN, and they're like, listen, we need somebody with your passion to help revamp the education system in a post-revolution country. Oh, wow. And that country is my dad's home country, Libya. They had just toppled the dictator, Muammar Gaddafi. There was a vacuum, and I got this call. So first, it's an honor and a privilege. Yeah. Second, it's like, why me? Like, what do you really think? I'm a C student, remember. But they said, you've got the background, you've got the understanding, and you've got the passion to make a difference. Yeah. So when I got there as education specialist for UNESCO, advising the prime minister of the country, meeting with the minister of education, and with other UN agencies, I realized I needed to learn the skills to be able to help people in positions of power and public trust to make better decisions. Yeah. The ability to collaborate, but I didn't have the skills. And so I went to Harvard to meet a couple of professors, and I asked, do you think that this is something that I could learn here? And they said, you're exactly who we look for. I said, yeah, but you got to look at my transcripts. Yeah. And they said, but Adel, that was so long ago. So that doesn't matter. You know how to read, you know how to write, you're smart, you're driven. We want good people here. And so I did all the tests that I needed to get in, and got admitted. Wow. But if that's not a great story, I don't know what is the great story. Well, listen, it's not linear, but here's the ingredient. And a lot of people say, well, you must have gotten straight A's. You must have been really smart. You must have done Model UN to get a UN job. You must have been a really good speaker. I was an introvert. You're like a quiet person, don't much. Exactly, and that's one of the values that many of our parents teach us, is keep your head down, don't draw attention, don't talk politics. But there isn't a linear, which is why I think there's so many extraordinary people out there who have gifts and talents but there are so many structures that are put in place as barriers that inhibit us from even imagining that we can be in a place like this. Harvard then allows me to teach. So I was teaching leadership. The dean at Harvard Law School asked me to join as a policy fellow at Harvard Law, which was a dream of mine to study law. And I'm like, what am I doing? How did I even get here? But you can't explain it. The secret ingredient is a commitment to do good.
Yeah.
And that the world around you will open up as long as you have the good intention, which is, I want to contribute. The one thing that I think many people forget, and we want to remind each other, is that never underestimate that seemingly ordinary people can do extraordinary things. And there's so many ordinary people who walk down your street here.
Oh yeah, so many.
And every one of them has a gift. Many of them have multiple gifts, and most of them, they don't even know that they have those gifts. And so I always look at, well, what are the barriers and the inhibitors that tell people, convince people that you've got nothing to contribute? And I want to break those walls down. And that's been a commitment ever since I remember at high school, and even now in my teaching and my foundation where we inspire young people, to even as a professor at Sauder, I want to open up doors to people because I believe every one of us has gifts that they can contribute.
Honestly, your story is is amazing. Cause
your story is amazing.
Because Adel, you telling me all this. I bet most people didn't even know this about you. They probably see you think Adel, all this. You straight A student. To University of Calgary.
There you go.
Yeah.
You heard it here, folks.
Wow, man. No, honestly, if this is not teaching people, I don't know what else. Yeah. You know, this is another reason why we decided to do this show, because people learn from this. Yeah. Because it doesn't matter when you start, it's always like it's a journey. Everybody has a time. Everybody time counts. You know, your time came, and you know what? It's God's time. God's time. Nobody can take it away. Yeah. It doesn't matter how long it takes. At least, you know, when it's your time to come, it will come. Yeah. And I'm so amazed with this. Yeah. Because I know me growing up, I was the same way with school. Yeah. I was never good in school. Yeah. But I was a people person. So when the doors open, I'm able to make it work. Yeah. And from what you're telling me, it's like, I realize, no, my story is not that bad at all.
Your story is extraordinary. Everybody has an extraordinary story. Look. One thing that I've learned through my professional experience meeting with people who are in high positions, whether they be heads of states, presidents, prime ministers, or CEOs of major corporations, is that they're human beings. Yeah. And a lot of them climbed up that ladder because of accolades. They might have had an advantage. They went to a good school that then got them into a good college and university, got them their first internship. Like, there are doors that are open for many people a lot easier than others. Yeah. And so my inspiration is, how do we break those doors? At the same time, Daniel, when those people get those positions, they still have imposter syndrome. They still have a lot of doubts. And frankly, and this is what became a realization for me, is that they often make a lot of big mistakes. You turn on your TV right now and take a look at any one of them, politicians or executives, and then when you step back and you study what went wrong, you're like, man, I think I could have done a better job.
For sure.
And that is the case. Yeah. And so get there. And if a young person is thinking, look, engineering is my track, or even plumbing is my track, or even construction is my track, the one consistent thing is excel in it and do well in it. When nobody is looking, excel. Yeah. You're building a house, make sure that it's the best, so that whoever buys the house even 2-3 times over is not saying, who built this and why did they cut corners? Yeah. Like, excel in what you're doing. And like you mentioned, sky's the limit if that's where you want to aspire for. Although the altitude, the air is pretty thin up there. I wouldn't say just aim for the sky. Although what did Kanye say? You know, shoot for the stars and if you fall, you land on the clouds.
Oh yeah. Wow. No.
The altitude's pretty high.
So from United Nations to Harvard, and what brought you to home to UBC?
So I was sitting there in my office at Harvard Law School. Yeah. And a couple of moments emerged where it was pretty clear that I wanted to come home and I needed to come home. Yeah. First of all, my parents are getting older.
That's true.
And my siblings are also doing extraordinary things in various parts of the world and across Canada. And so I felt the eldest son got to come home and take care of my parents. Something in our family that I'm pretty sure you can resonate. A lot of pressure's on the older, the older son. Yeah. For better or for worse, I felt that there was a calling. My late mother-in-law was diagnosed with lung cancer, and she lived with my father-in-law in Victoria. And so there was, the writing was on the wall. We needed to come home to support our family. And then our kids were like, Baba, we want to come home. Like, we love being in Boston. We love traveling, but we want to come home and set our roots here. And so it was an elder from Coquitlam First Nations. We walked together for Truth and Reconciliation last week. Yeah. And as I was telling her my story, because she was so intrigued, she said, so Adel, you came back to give back. You're like the salmon, because Coquitlam is named after the fish that swims upriver, which is the salmon coming home, which is actually right now. Within a week or two, the salmon is coming home from the ocean, coming home to spawn and to die.
Wow.
And the salmon is born here in these rivers, and it knows when to come home to contribute and give back for the next generation.
Yeah.
It gave me goosebumps when I'm walking with Elder Terry, and she was telling me, so that's your story. You're like, you came home.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people say, why did you come home? And it was a calling. I'm sitting there in those halls of that university feeling, this isn't it.
Yeah.
This isn't what I was meant to do. I was meant to come home and now contribute, whether it is to lift up the next generation through our foundation, working with young people, or as a professor, or as a citizen who's just trying to bring our community together.
Wow. How long have you had your nonprofit for?
And my wife and I, Naomi and I, established it about 10 years ago.
Okay.
With the goal to do three things. We wanted to inspire, engage, and connect young people to make a contribution in their local communities.
Okay.
And so we mentor high school students, grades 10, 11, 12.
Okay.
We ask them what difference do they want to see in the world.
Yeah.
Remembering when I was in high school, I had that epiphany that, man, if I wish that I had an adult in my life who wanted to lift me up and ask how they can help.
Yeah.
So we're in that position. We have an initiative as part of Gamar Foundation called the Let Her Lead Initiative. And the idea is that we want to break barriers to women's advancement for women and girls. And so the notion that let her lead is, what are the barriers that are inhibiting young girls and women from advancing? And then we do other social, cultural events around the cities to bring young people together and celebrate community.
Wow. It's a good story. I really like it. So all your girls are all they're all in your nonprofit?
My daughters?
Yeah.
My daughters are doing other things.
Oh,
they're doing extraordinary things. I'm a proud dad of 5 girls. So I'm a girl dad, proud girl dad.
Girl dad is always good.
What's that?
It's always
a good thing. Yeah. Apparently there's research, Daniel, that fathers who have daughters live, for every daughter, something like 7 years. So I might have gotten the number.
You live longer.
But you live, girls are a blessing for multiple reasons. Apparently, I don't know if it's because sons just shorten your life in some other ways. Shout out to all the boy dads and boy moms, love boys.
Yeah, I have a friend called Joe. He has 4 daughters. The grade keeps coming every day.
Is that right?
Yeah, the older they get, the grades keeps coming.
Is that what they say? No, listen. I lost my hair before I was any dad. So, no, we've been blessed to have these girls. So they're women. They're doing extraordinary things in the world and in local community here. But the foundation keeps us inspired, man. Young people are just a source of inspiration.
Right. So what motivated you to fund the GLG?
Health consultancy?
Yeah.
After, teaching, because I profess it, I teach it, I build capacity in the classroom. I wanted to be able to consult organizations that have complex challenges. Mm-hmm. And so one of the ways that I help organizations is identify what their hopes and dreams are, and that usually is their strategic plan, their mission. But oftentimes there are harsh realities that are inhibiting them from fulfilling that strategy. And usually it really includes a group of people. And so I wanted to help organizations learn how to better collaborate while also fulfilling their bottom line. If they're, a private sector, if it's an NGO or a public sector, how do they fulfill their mission? And so the consultancy is just a way for me to be able to help businesses, organizations, people fulfill what their missions are.
So far, you've advised boards, nonprofits, and all this stuff. What have you learned leading to direct him through all these complex challenges?
The bigger the challenge, the more that not one individual can be blamed for it, which a lot of CEOs love to hear that, or presidents, because they're like, okay, well, thank you, I can breathe now. And that you need a group of people to come together. For me, as I've seen what leadership development is about, a lot of times when we think of leadership, we think of a person. You know, and a lot of times what people do then is that they wait for an individual to emerge, and they rarely emerge. And if they emerge, they probably will burn out because of the pressures that
Too much work, yeah.
And so leadership, as I profess it, teach it, and consult it, is what if we were to reimagine what leadership is that it's not a person, but it's a group of people. And that group of people need to come together to collaborate and to help make some progress on whatever challenge that we're trying to make progress on. Take global warming, for example. It's a huge, complex problem.
Yeah.
Take the labor shortage. Take the affordability that's hitting across Metro Vancouver and across Canada, across the United States, and a lot of countries. And so who's going to solve it? If we had that old mind frame, which is a leader, all we need is the politician to be elected, which oftentimes a lot of politicians say, vote for me and I'll make sure all your problems go away.
Which is not possible.
It's not possible.
Yeah.
It's foolish, it's foolhardy, it's manipulative. But how do we identify the group that needs to come together and help make some progress on whatever challenge that we identify? And so that's what I believe we've got to be doing.
Okay. How about this one too, though? Adaptive leadership is a big focus work that you do now.
Yeah.
How do you explain in simple terms, and why is it important in today's world?
Adaptive leadership is the capacity to bring a group together. Part of doing that work by bringing the group together is identifying what's everybody's interest. What are your hopes? What are your dreams? What are your pain points? And then what would progress look like? That outcome will require that very group to come together and to use that support mechanism to identify what would that progress look like. Okay. And oftentimes, for adaptive leadership, like that group to come together, oftentimes the voiceless, the people that don't have the accolades or the office or that position are the ones that are able to make the impact, and people don't even know who they are.
Because
they're just not, because they're not beating the drum saying, vote for me or here I am. Take, for example, when you think of Martin Luther King, what do you remember from Martin Luther King?
Well, he did a lot for everybody because he stood up for everybody.
Good. What do you remember a speech that he ever gave?
The Million Mile March.
Okay, so it was the March on Washington. Do you
I have
remember
a
what it
dream.
was called?
I have a dream.
Great. So, Martin Luther King had a confidant, a trusted advisor, Mahalia Jackson. She sang in the choir. She had a beautiful voice, but she was a confidant to Martin Luther King. Days before the March on Washington, Martin Luther King had a dream. And he called Mahalia Jackson and he said, I just had a dream. And he tells her about the dream. He said, tell me about the dream. He said, my kids are going to be able to be judged by the content of the character, not the skin color. He tells her this dream, and it hit her so hard. It was just so beautiful. The day of the march, he was about to go up and give the speech. He had a whole speech written about the economy, about black people contribute so much to the economy. And Washington, you've got to take care of black people because if you don't, the economy will plummet. He had the speech written up. And as he was delivering that speech, you can look at the video, he started to talk about, it was going to be an economic speech. Malia sees that he's actually not being Martin. He's reading his speech. She yells at him, Martin, tell them about the dream. He hears her. Watch. He puts his papers down. And then he starts telling the world.
Started speaking from his heart.
It was her. But we don't even know who she is. If she walked down the street, you wouldn't recognize her because we remember Martin Luther King. Okay. Now, he used his power and that mic. Now, it made a huge difference because it gave people some hope. And oftentimes, Daniel, in times of despair, what leadership is to give people hope. Because it is a more divisive world now. And as one of my dear friends, Saul Guy, reminded me recently, he said, Adel, there are people in this world who wake up every day and their sole goal, their purpose is to divide us. I'll give you an example. Your algorithm on your phone. If you just pause for a millisecond, you're already getting marginalized because that algorithm is saying, oh, you want more of this, which means less of that, which means I'm never, ever going to be able to even imagine what the other side and that there is another pasture and other opportunities to learn. So he said to me, Saul, if people are dividing us, who's going to bring us together?
That's true.
That's us. That's the rest of us. Bringing people together is the greatest gift. It's like our superpower to bring people and to convene. And the more divisive, the more every one of us is called to step up to contribute. You want an example? So let me ask
Yeah.
you, have you ever heard of the Little Rock Nine?
No, I've never heard of the Little Rock Nine.
Little Rock, Arkansas is a city in Arkansas in the United States. In the 50s, up until the 50s, schools in the United States were segregated. White kids were not allowed, black kids were not allowed to go to school. The Supreme Court passed a ruling, which is Brown versus Board of Education, where they said it was unconstitutional to divide schools based on race. It was unconstitutional. So then it was against the law. But who's going to have the courage, kids, to go to school that day after the Supreme Court? Everybody was afraid.
Obviously, because they're scared.
They're scared. Mobs showed up at school, ready for any black kid to try to walk into those schools.
They'll mess them up.
They were ready with sticks and stones, literally. And so a group of young kids, 9 of them, they were 14 to 17 years of age. They said, let's go to school.
Yeah.
The President of the United States, Dwight Eisenhower, said, okay, you guys are going to go. I'll use my power to protect you. He sent 1,000 troops
To go protect
to
them.
protect 9 children. What were those 9 kids trying to do? Get an education.
Yeah, trying to go to school.
And they're trying to avoid the mob. Dwight Eisenhower used his power to bring that group. Those kids, man, were afraid. But they just wanted to show the world there's a better way. We're just like every other kid. Now, this is the 50s. A group of white men, young people, play in a band in Liverpool, England.
Yeah.
They have their talent and their God-given gifts of playing musical instruments. They heard the story of the Little Rock Nine. And they're like, man, there's such an inspiration. How do we use our power to fuel their power? So one of them wrote a song. I want to sing it to you.
Please.
He said, blackbird singing in the dead of night, take these broken wings and learn to fly. All your life, you were only waiting for this moment to arise. That group, the Beatles.
The Beatles.
Paul McCartney talked about blackbird as these kids. He said, blackbird singing in the dead of night, like there's no hope, there's despair, and you're singing a song. You're giving us hope. Take these broken wings that they tried to clip and learn to fly. All your life, you were waiting for this moment to arise.
Wow.
Beyonce just released that song recently, Blackbird, and it was for the Little Rock Nine.
From the same kids that Paul McCartney is singing to.
One of the Little Rock Nine is Minnie Jean Brown Tricky.
Wow.
She lives here.
She lives here.
She's a legend. She's in her 80s.
Lives here.
She's with us.
Wow.
The Gamar Foundation had a summit to bring young people. We asked Minnie Jean, can you come and just share your story? And she sat right here beside me. I was like, you're here. What an inspiration. She said, Adele. I'm saying she looked at the crowd of high school kids.
Yes.
She said, no, you give me hope.
Yeah.
You will give me hope. And we're like, are you serious? They're like, no, because with you dreaming big, wanting to contribute in the world, that's the very thing that we thought. We never imagined we're going to make a difference. We didn't call for this to happen, segregation, but they used their power and their hope to make a dent in the world, a positive dent. So much that inspired a group like the Beatles to sing about them.
Because of them, every kid was able to go to school without getting
And we
scared.
take it for granted
Yeah.
now.
Oh,
your
now
kids,
we do,
can
yeah.
your kids are not meeting mob outside of the school.
My
saying
kids,
you can't
my
go.
kids are enjoying. We when we came here, it was hard. Now
Yes.
they go to school. They
Yes.
on TikTok. They on laptops.
Yeah.
We never had that
Now,
chance.
it's not perfect.
Yeah.
We still got work to do.
Yeah, but we'll get better.
But so many people have gone before us, nameless, faceless.
Yeah.
Mahalia Jackson, Minnie Jean Brown Tricky, the Little Rock Nine, and they contributed. And they didn't have positions of power, but they found a way to give people hope.
Wow, that's very inspirational story.
No kidding.
Wow,
You're
man.
like, I had these words, and I was like, man, I'm gonna share these words, and I said,
No, this is very nice. We would know. We're teaching people. People are going to get inspired by this.
we're learning.
We're learning. Today, you're taking me to school. Usually, I'm taking people to school, but today, I'm actually
You got an
learning.
A in my
No, yo, I'm learning, and I love this, Adele. This is like probably one of the best we've had.
Oh, man.
This is one of the best we've had, and hopefully, we get more guests like you.
Oh, I appreciate
So that
it.
way, you
That's
know.
humbling.
Oh, I love this.
Good.
And all this, I'm going to bring it up now. Last 4 years,
Yeah.
the campaign.
Yeah.
What made you do it? What made you want
Why
to get
run?
it? Yeah. Because the same person I've won for the last 20 years, 30 years.
Yeah. So what made me want to run for mayor?
Yeah.
That's a good question. What made me want to run for public office?
Yeah.
And I think it's not what, it's who.
Cool.
There's a notion that, you can't be something without seeing it.
Obviously.
And part of the reason why we need people to excel in positions, particularly if you're marginalized communities, black, brown communities, is, be a trailblazer so that others are able to follow.
Yeah.
And the sense of responsibility when you get that position, because you're carrying so many hopes and dreams of so many people, that you actually have to be the best, maybe even better than whoever it was before you.
Yeah.
The pressure is real, because I wouldn't want to mess it up,
Yeah.
because I don't want other people that look like me to say, man, he was a disappointment.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
So you asked me what made me want to run, and I'm answering it as, well, who made me want to run? I never thought of running.
Yeah.
Because my father was a Gaddafi dissident, so he left because his life was on the line, because
Yeah.
he was calling for democracy and freedom of speech, and that got him into trouble. My mom was a registered nurse and a school teacher, worked her butt off. She volunteered at Review Hospital. She still teaches kids even though she retired. So they know how to work hard, but one thing they never wanted us to talk about at the dinner table, politics. And I'm pretty sure for many immigrant people, families, it's the same thing. Don't talk about politics. This was the farthest thing. So the question isn't what made me want to run, it's who?
Who?
Barack Obama. For the first time ever, that I have seen somebody who is not really wanting to be president because he wanted to make history. Because a lot of people run for office because they want to be something.
Yeah.
Right? It's a natural progression of my career. I've done this, I've done that, and therefore, opportunity. And you can't fault people for becoming politicians because they want to be something. It's just, there's another category that gives me more hope, and that is that people who run for office because they want to do something.
Yeah.
And for President Obama, that's exactly what he did. He wanted to actually contribute.
Yeah.
He wanted to make a difference, and we've seen what he has done. So much that I was a grad student, and I got a call from the dean saying the president would like to put together a group of people to form a task force to advise him. And so as a grad student, I was called to advise Mr. Charles Ramsey, who is the chairperson of President Obama's 21st Century Policing Task Force.
Wow.
So I'm a grad student, and I'm thinking, at that time, Daniel, I'm like, man, that's so amazing.
Yeah.
He's the president, and he knows black and brown kids were getting shot by police before people caught them on camera, but now people are being more aware of it, hypersensitive about it, of course. And he said, I'm the president, I have the power to convene, but I also need to bring people.
Around.
And so that to me was a great gift for me to be able to say, if I was in elected office, what good can we do? And how can I use that power to bring people together? So I come home and I said, well, why don't I run so I can serve my community?
Yeah.
Because I already have the skills to be able to build better collaboration. And I've got an example in President Obama that he'd actually do it. Wow. So that's continuation of public service in whatever I do. But I felt like it would be selfish
Not to run.
if I didn't run.
Yeah. No, it was good because stuff that you're doing like that, you open doors for the young people coming up.
Man.
Because we all always want somebody to look up to, and then somebody make a move, and somebody join. And like you said, to be a brother in this society, to be able to do everything, you have to work 10 times better than everybody else. Without it, it's impossible.
Yeah.
So when I saw you running, I was like, you know what?
Yeah. And I saw you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we should know each other.
Yeah, we didn't know each other. So I was saying,
I'm not alone.
honestly, I was like, you know what? And we only have one person in common, Cisse.
Cisse.
Yeah.
Ranila.
Yeah, that guy, only God knows what he's done.
Yeah.
Honestly, so when I saw you running, I was like, wow, if he's doing it, for sure we can do it.
Oh, man.
So you inspired all of us,
Man.
and we love what you're doing.
Daniel, let me share with you two sources of inspiration. I was knocking on the door, and as you know, knock on doors.
Yeah.
And like you do anything in life, oftentimes it feels really good, and sometimes you don't have the day that you felt that you were expecting.
Yeah.
I was knocking on a door, and a man that was about 90 years old opens the door, and he said to me, "So you're on to be my mayor, huh? Why?" And I And he said, where are you coming from? I said, well, I grew up here. I went to Ranch Park just down the street. I went to Charles Bester on the corner. I went to We talked at his door, and he said to me, put a lawn sign. I'm going to vote for you. My biggest regret is that I won't live long enough to your re-election. A year after, I went by to knock on his door and say, thank you for your support. I'm sorry I disappointed you. I didn't win. His daughter opened the door. Yeah. Now, he's a European Canadian. And for some people, they're like, oh, you got to represent your community, which means, Afro-Arab. Yeah. I'm like, he's been there for generations, man. And for me, he was a source of hope. Yeah. His daughter says to me, he remembers you fondly. And then I asked her, so what did he love? She said he loved cats. So I said, can we donate something to the SPCA in his name? Yeah. To me, he was a source of hope. And we don't share a lot in common, except we love our cities and we want to contribute. May his soul rest in peace. The other inspiration, I go down this block while I was door knocking and I see a bunch of kids playing basketball. And I said, hey, pass the ball. They're like, old timer. What do you know about basketball? I said, just pass the ball. So I dribbled, I take a shot. It was nothing but nets. Thank goodness I impressed them. So they're like, who are you? Why are you here? I had a suit jacket on. Yeah. And I said, I'm running to be your mayor. What's going on in your neighborhood? She's like, you're going to be mayor? Listen, these lights turn off at 6 o'clock. Can you keep them on for at least an hour? We love playing basketball at night. It brings us together. I was like, yeah, that's something the mayor can do. So one kid said, so how are we going to get you elected? Yeah. Another kid sees me holding pamphlets. Yeah. So he says, you want him elected? Yeah. Like he already got active. Yeah. He's like, take these pamphlets, listen to your pamphlets. Yeah. A week later, I'm at a corner store not far from where I saw these kids, and it's a local corner store, so the guy who owns the store was putting up my poster to show his support. Yeah. A woman comes in, an Ethiopian woman, Ethiopian Canadian. Yeah. She looks at the poster, she looks at me, she looked at the poster, and she said, is this you? I said, he kind of looks like me. And she said, you saw my son last week. Yeah, I did. She said, you gave him a poster. Yeah. I said, I actually didn't give it to him. They just took it from my head. She said, do you know what he did with that poster? I said, nah. She said, he put it up on his wall. Wow. Like, to me, it put me into tears. Yeah. Because it's like, we won. Yeah. We won. Oh, here's this kid that he just saw me for like 5 minutes. I dribbled the ball. Like, I don't know if I got a brick. Then he might have not wanted to talk to me, but it went right in. Wow. And then here he is. He might very well run one day. Yeah. He might say, yeah, I saw somebody. He came. He looked dignified. He reminds me of me. I mean, he's Ethiopian. My mom is Sudanese Egyptian, so we're not far from each other. Same tone, we look the same. We look the same. And that, to me, was the purpose of why we did all this.
Wow. Man, so looking back on the campaign, like, what was the most rewarding about
all of this, door knocking.
Okay. Meeting people
open up the door and I say, I'm Adel Gamar, I'm running to serve you. How could I be of service? Like, service, is this who we are? Yeah. And a lot of people wouldn't consider running because, unfortunately, there have been a lot of politicians in those positions who have not showed discipline. Yeah. But I can't say that about Barack Obama. No. Oh, he's got a great example.
He did his job.
So why don't we use him as an example, as opposed to all the other politicians that maybe have not lived up to the optimal,
like the hype,
or they just don't know that there is a better way. Give people hope and also follow through. Don't give empty promises. Don't lie to people. But meeting with people, Daniel, hearing their stories and their hopes fueled me to continue to do it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have run.
So we see you running again?
I have been talking to a lot of people, which I would do. And I've been listening more than talking. My mom reminds me, you got 2 ears and 1 tongue, which means you got to double down on listening. Yeah. The election is for another year. Yeah. I want to serve in every capacity, and we do that every day. Yeah. I need to talk to my wife and kids about this.
To see how it
We're getting pretty close to a decision.
Yeah.
I'll let you know.
Cause me, hey, I'm here to help, and don't knock in anything.
Appreciate it.
Any messages, any online, anything you want me to do, I'm here to do, because I always tell all the black people that run. Yeah. It doesn't matter what party you're in. Yeah. If you win, it's like I've won. Yeah. So you run, you win. It's like I've won. Yeah. It's like everybody has won. So then also you open doors for other people. You open doors for people like me.
Oh man. That's what we're here to do, man. Open up doors. Yeah. There are people who are blocking doors, actually propping things against the doors, inhibiting people. In fact, they're sitting in those seats and they don't even know when to get up. I want to make sure that even when people get to those positions is know your time. You run out of ideas, run out of steam. And yeah, you got name recognition, so you feel like, okay, it's an easy win. But you've got to know there's a time for you to leave so that other people, it's like you got to crack that window open a little, open the door. Open that door, get up off that seat. Yeah, find another career so that you can create space for other people who got great ideas and great insights and perspective and lived experience. And yeah, they probably went to different schools and lived in various countries and can bring a breadth of knowledge.
Wow.
But it's hard for people because you get too comfortable in that seat.
So this is what I'm going to ask though. This is the last question. If you're elected, what would your first thing that you will do in Coquitlam?
Bring people together.
Okay.
Politics has been dividing us for too long.
Long time.
Too long. Yeah. Party politics is divisive. I know that's just the nature of the parties. And so, for better or for worse, that's what we got. Yeah. Somebody reminded me, democracy is the next best thing to anarchy. It's not perfect, but we can make it a more perfect. For me, I ran for mayor as opposed to an MP or an MLA, and I have a lot of respect for MLAs and MPs because they do extraordinary work and they carry a lot of load. As mayor, it gives you a license to be able to bring different parties, people from different perspectives. And as mayor, you're the biggest ambassador, you're the biggest collaborator, you're the CEO of your city. Yeah. With council and their advice and inspirations, you bring those ideas together. So you are a convener and you solve problems. A lot of people have the misconception that mayor and council are there to provide services. Yeah. That's what the staff does, and that's important. Mayor and council's job is to solve big problems, whether it comes to creating local jobs for young people to stay here, whether it means affordable housing, whether it be finding third places like helping young businesses like barbershops and coffee shops to thrive, because not only do they sell products and services, but they convene our community. Yes. And so for me, the one biggest ingredient that will tie all of our cities together is how do we collaborate and convene people so that people have a deep sense of belonging and not be divisive, whether it be on social media or just not bumping into each other. We need to be more connected. I think that's the opportunity we have now to create that space.
Okay. Adel, I don't know what to say, but I don't know how much I can thank you enough. So how do people get hold of you?
Talk to Daniel. Yeah. My man,
please.
He got my phone number.
Yeah. You guys know election is coming up next year. I don't know if he's running, but we'd hopefully.
I'll tell Daniel, we'll promote it, we'll share it.
Hopefully he runs. Yeah. And hopefully we all come and solve. Door knocking is not easy. One person cannot do it, but the whole village can help and do it. My man. So everybody reach out. Adel, anything you need, we're here.
I appreciate it.
We're here to support. We appreciate you so much.
Listen, one jealous thing that I have is that I wish I had a set here, man. I had an afro, and I used to love going to a barber shop. And so unless you do a hot towel.
We do hot towel, we do everything.
So I might come over for a hot towel.
Just come by on the side. Yeah, we'll spoil you. And these days, honestly, you know what? If you have no hair.
Yeah, if you have no hair.
We can provide hair.
You got some hope. You can come and get spoiled.
Just come. I'll put some hair on you right now, man.
Oh, man. No, Daniel.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you so much.
Man.
Thank you, man.
All right, blessings.
Bless us.